I'd like to call to the Apache Junction Water District meeting to order. Roll call.
Chairman Wilson,
Here.
Board Member Evans,
Here.
Board Member Nesser,
Present.
Board Member Schroeder.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Agenda, approval of the minutes for March 15th. Do I have a motion for approval?
Your Honor, I move that the minutes of the meeting of March 15th, 2022 be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Ms. Nesser,
Yes.
Mr. Schroeder,
Yes.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Presentation, discussion, consideration, resolution number 2022-001, declaring a portion of utility easement located at 1830 East 2nd Avenue in Apache Junction is no longer needed.
Good evening, Chairman Wilson and members of the board. Just a quick presentation here. We have a easement, a 33-foot easement dedicated back in the early 60s on a piece of property at 1930 East 2nd Avenue. It's no longer necessary for public use. Here's a little map of the area. It's an acre and a quarter property. It's on their west side of their property, but they want to abandon that portion of the easement, but not the portion of 2nd Avenue at this point in time. And we currently have no facilities in that area, and it currently is not in our service area, so we're recommending extinguishment of this PUE.
Okay, any discussion by council or not council, board members, excuse me. Okay, do I have a motion for this resolution?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2022-001, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Water Utilities Community Facilities District, City of Apache Junction, Arizona, declaring a portion of the public utility easement located at 1930 East 2nd Avenue, Apache Junction, Arizona, is no longer necessary for public use and is hereby extinguished, be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Board Member Evans,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Schroeder.
Yes.
Chair Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now we'll do presentation, discussion, considerations of resolution number 2022-002 on another easement. Yes.
So this one's located on 181 North Winchester. These two easements, which I'll quickly forward to, are portion of a development, the Sunset Vista Estates, that you guys have been working with a developer on. They're looking at approximately 85-unit apartment complex on this parcel, and then I believe it's another parcel to the south of it. So it'll be redeveloped. These two easements are no longer required for public utility easement, so the district recommends extinguishment of these two easements on this property.
Any discussion from board members? Okay, can I have a motion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2021-002, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Water Utilities Community Facilities District, City of Apache Junction, Arizona, declaring portions of the public utility easements located at 181 North Winchester Road, Apache Junction, Arizona, are no longer necessary for public use and are hereby extinguished, be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
So that was Resolution 2022-002. I
Yes.
heard 2021. Okay.
Oh, no, that's, I
It
just
says
noticed that.
2021.
It says it on the motion, 2021.
Okay, thank you. It's
Yeah.
2022-002.
Yeah.
All right. Board Member Evans,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Schroeder.
Yes.
Chair Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Okay, presentation, discussion, consideration, or approval of license agreement between the Water District Community Facilities District and Tyler Technologies.
What?
No.
Huh?
No?
Mr. Chair,
No.
I think that's,
Should be
Yeah,
on
that-
22-233.
should be on the
Number 4.
budget.
So that's what I got for number 4, so
Oh,
Oh, me too.
hear it down here, so let me look in here.
That's what?
I have
Oh, the script.
Oh,
selections of dates and times for the budget work
Okay.
session.
Item number 4 is discussion and selection of dates, times, and location for budget work session, tentative budget adoption, and final budget adoption for fiscal year 2022-2023.
Okay, I'll quit following this then. Okay, I apologize.
So the district would like to set some dates for our budget work session, our tentative budget, and our final budget. We'd like to set these dates for May 3rd of 2022 at 6 p.m. for the work session. Our tentative budget hearing would be on May 17th of 2022 at 6 p.m. And our final budget would be on June 21st, 2022 at 6 p.m. located here at Apache Junction City Council Chambers.
Okay, is this a motion that we have to do?
Yeah.
yes.
Any discussion by board members?
No, they sound good.
And this is following the city schedule also.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, do I have a motion?
Your Honor, I move that the following dates, times, and location for fiscal year 2022-2023 budget work sessions, tentative budget adoption, and final budget adoptions be approved, with a special meeting for budget works session on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers, regular meeting for adoption of class and compensation and tentative budget on Tuesday, May 17th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the city council chambers, and regular meeting for public hearing and final budget adoption on Tuesday, June 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the city council chambers.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
My apologies. So the there is no special meeting for that Monday on the work session. I apologize, there is. And then the final budget adoption would be Tuesday, June 21st. Is that the date that you said? I'm sorry, I was.
June 14th.
June
Yeah, so-
14th. not the
June
20th.
21
June 21.
will be a Tuesday,
Yes.
and they can pass their final budget at a regular meeting. Apologies. So a special meeting on,
The motion says the 14th, and
Yeah.
that, yeah.
but
okay,
So-
but
Sorry,
you should,
got this
it's
new
scratched
motion in
out,
front of you.
and your motion in front of you, my apologies.
Okay.
I mean, you wanted us to read this in front of us?
So Jennifer, the 21st instead of the 14th, right?
Yeah.
June 21 will be final
Correct.
budget adoption.
Do I need to say that again?
Yes?
Yes.
The whole thing?
No?
We're good,
Okay.
yeah.
And a correction, the regular meeting for public hearing and final budget adoption on Tuesday, June 21st, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the city council chambers.
Second.
Okay, moved and reseconded?
All right, thank you. Board Member Evans?
Yes.
Board Member Nesser?
Yes.
Board Member Schroeder?
Yes.
Chair Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Presentation of non-Indian agriculture priority water validation process.
We have a special presenter tonight.
Yes.
Mr. Stern will be here.
He loves this.
Okay.
Oh,
Can you,
let me switch
can you,
that for you, Joel.
if you could do that part in the slideshow? Okay. All right, good evening, everybody. I hope Mike Loggins didn't tamper with my presentation. I bet he did. But this has been like a long process to get this water. And I wanted to show you the progression, because we finally did we haven't gotten the water yet, but we have put everything in the legal means to get it. So what is it, and what does it mean to you? Whoa, that's pretty loud.
Wow.
Thank you. That is loud. So what is NIA water? It stands for Non-Indian Agricultural Water. Its name is signed by Colorado River Water, delivered by the Central Arizona Project. That was originally bought by Agricultural Water Uses in Maricopa, Pinal, and Pima County. So look at the pie graph, 817 acre feet. That's what we have now. And that is 10% of the water portfolio that the district has. So you ask, well, what's an acre foot? I didn't hear anybody say that, but I'm asking. So you go to the next slide, and you look at a football field, and it's a foot of water from the whole football field, and that's 325,000 gallons roughly. And 0.5 acre feet of water is used annually by the average family. Okay, so the Secretary of Interior allocated Colorado River water to Central Arizona tribes, municipal water providers, and industrial water users. That's called M&I, municipal and industrial, which was described as non-Indian agriculture water. The Secretary also decided that in times of shortage, the Colorado River water delivered by CAP water would first be delivered to tribes. That's why it's important to our district. It's also important that you have a designated assured water supply. So you meet that, and you can do developments. That's the bottom line.
Joel, can I?
Oh.
Mr. Wilson, can I ask Joel a question? Earlier this year, water was cut by 50% going for agriculture. How does that affect this?
I
Doesn't-
don't believe it does because it's a separate
Okay,
federal section that applies to water shortages. So when this water became available, essentially what happened was in the 1990s, to get the CAP water to the fields, there had to be extra improvements by these irrigation companies. And it was costing millions of dollars, and they could not afford it. So they essentially traded in their water rights, and so the cities and towns and tribes basically took on the debt. That's what happened to the NIA water. So then came the Settlement Acts of 2004, and irrigation districts gave up the remainder of the agriculture CAP water, and require that some of the Colorado River water relinquished by agriculture users must be reallocated for M&I tribal purposes. The water originally allocated to non-Indian agriculture and now used for tribal and M&I uses kept the name of NIA water, even though it really isn't, but that's the historical name of it. So what happened then? Settlement Acts of 2004. The Secretary of Interior made it available through the state, with the state recommendation of essentially 96,000 acre feet of water. So there was going to be a tiered process with different years where different amounts of water would come in. But there's a process to get it. You don't just ask for it and say, oh yeah, you can have whatever you want. No, you have to prove it. So that requirement was in 2013, and right after I became the water district attorney, actually, I remember this, your former director put in a request for 1,270 acre feet. We didn't get that, but he did do it timely, and he put the request in. And so ADWR took the request from different agencies, and that included us, and they said ours was about 817. That's what they essentially said. We're going to recommend that the NIA water that the district could get. So there's a process to do that. And the process is there's a public environmental assessment, hearings that went on for 4 or 5 years. And at the end, there was an environmental impact statement that said, final finding of no significant impact, meaning they're not going to change out the recommendation of the amounts and that they were to go forward. So then, and that's this is just more on what happens with the hearings. There was extensive public outreach, and that's why they really didn't change anything. Okay, going to Secretary of Interior. There's something called the Federal Register. That is a federal treaties where administrative decisions of the federal government are noted. And so we have nice billing here, Apache Junction Water Utility Community Facilities District, 817 acre feet. I mean, it's pretty cool to get into the Federal Register. It really is. So all these agencies and private companies, they also wanted water, and they have different acre feet. And once again, it's based on your need and what ADWR thinks you should get. And so here are the actual emblems and seals of the different cities and towns. And so in 2021, there was a recommendation to the Secretary for the Arizona Department of Water Resources following CAP, and were approved by the CAWCD, Central Arizona Water Conservation District Board, and water deliveries will begin in 2022. However, we're still not there yet. I'm getting there, Mr. Chair. So what does that mean? Now, the federal government said, okay, you really want this water? You have to enter into what is called a subcontract. And this is the agreement that we entered into, and you have seen this already. So, in the last year, 2021, at your June meeting, you essentially approved by resolution that you were going to ask for this water, and you did. And you approved the subcontract. So in that subcontract, there's a requirement that the district has to go and get it validated by a judge. Yet another step, but it's under the federal regs, and that's what we had to do. And there's a process to do that, and here's page 1 of our petition. And by the way, all these other agencies, if I could get to them, they had to do the same thing. So we had to go with all these. And so if you can imagine a conference call with 15 different attorneys on the line, because that's what we started doing. So, and a judge who really didn't know anything about water. He was a Superior Court judge, and it was fascinating. So we went through it, 48, 37, 32. What happened, there's a hearing process. So this petition has to be published. There has to be a summons, and then people who would be interested in it have to have the ability to come and protest it. It's a 60-day process minimum. So we had to go through this with the other agencies. So the court, and actually SRP, to their credit, they paid for this. They paid for the publishing, which would have been thousands of dollars, easily, maybe tens of thousands with all the agencies involved. So the court ordered that it be published, and it was.
Why did SRP do that?
That might be a Mr. Logan's question, but I think.
Were they getting some?
They were getting some, yes. They were also getting some. They wanted to get this thing done. They were getting a lot. I forget how many they have. We can go back and look. But so the court shall order the clerk to give notice of the filing of the petition and the date of the hearing. And so they did that. Unfortunately, they did it in Maricopa County. And there were some entities where your water is or your headquarters is, that's where you're supposed to publish it. So they didn't do it in Pinal County. So that set us back and separated out us from the other 13 or 14 entities, with I think 2 or 3 others. So they eventually did get it right, and so this put us back about 3 months behind the others. And so this was done correctly. Here's the publishing. Then we have the time, and so this was the correct one in March. So we had a hearing scheduled for the 18th. And Rosemont was the other company that we were with, because theirs was not published correctly either. Theirs was published in Maricopa County, so it had to be redone by the court. And with the pretrial filings, you have to file these documents. We had to list Mike as the witness, and Rosemont had to list their witness. Then you had to list your petition, because that's, even though you filed it, the court wants to see that as an exhibit, just like they want to see the actual publication. So we had to list that. Pretrial filings, you have to deliver the exhibits. That's another thing we had to do. And the petition for validation, subcontract was filed, that's the actual contract notice. There's the publication. Then you have to do, after the hearing, this is, at the same time you submit all this, you have to do a notice of lodging proposed form of judgment. Because the judge doesn't write this up. We write it up and the judge signs it. That's how it works. So now you get to the evidence you're hearing. You're finally there. March 18th, what happens? I already kind of went through the history of how it got pushed back 3 months. But then what happens? Under 48, 37, 33, the court is supposed to go through the contract and the proceedings, hear all the testimony, find and determine validity and compliance with Title 48 enforceability, enter into record findings and determinations. So I did sit through on January 5th on the phone. I listened to 3 or 4 of the hearings with the other entities. So I got a good idea of how it was going to go. Well, the judge kind of changed the procedure on March 18th. And so he wanted to hear from a witness. And Mike was available. Mike showed up. We did it from my office. And we had, and thanks to Vivian, Vivian's here, and also my assistant, Melissa. Vivian set it up so we had a link into the court. So Mike was, the judge started going through everything, or actually I went through everything, and he interrupted me, and he says, well, I don't understand that. Let's go back to how you were formed. He wanted to know how the district was formed. Like I said, this was a judge who really didn't do water issues, and so I think he was covering every single base that he possibly could. So what saved the day was this guy. He saved it. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, where is, there it is. Okay, and he gets that. And so after that, we then got this document. This is your gold. This is the judgment. This is this is the validation. So after all that, this is what you get. You get a signed document. You send it off to Bureau of Reclamation and also the state. And then they start delivering your water probably sometime after October through the end of the year. So are there any questions?
I have one curiosity question. I'm not sure if it's for you or Mike, but on that chart where it showed how much water that each of the
Sorry,
entities,
that's loud. Where is that thing?
how much water each of the entities got?
away, man.
And I was just,
Keys away.
I was just kind of curious why, I forget who it was, one of the copper companies was getting like over 2,000 acres, feet of water.
Resolution copper, but
And we're only getting 817. Why isn't a city getting so little when a business is getting so much?
Well, probably because they showed a need and they were able to probably document it. We're a water district, so we can show development for the city of Apache Junction. But I don't know, they probably had some industry that they showed, and maybe they have someone on the board. I don't know. Who knows why? But you have to account for what you're asking for, and they did through the state. And then the state said, Secretary of Interior, we recommend these following amounts.
yeah, you got Freeport. That's Phelps used to be Phelps Dodge resolutions up here. Salt River and Rosemont. Mike, do you know why? Just it's one of the 5 Cs, and maybe.
I mean, I understand the need, you got to show it, but it seems like a business is getting that much where we asked for 1,200 and we only got 2/3 of what we asked for a whole city, I just.
Incorrect, and there was only so much available. They asked for more than what they received. So this is why it was really important that we approved working with SRP and working on this next study for the Verde system. So we're actually on the board to help divide that up in the end of showing the need and what the criteria is behind it so that we can justify that, so that we can get some more of that water. Kind of like the same example. They have a little bit different criteria. I'm sure once we work through it as part of that committee with SRP, we'll come up with a criteria of who has the most need for that water that will be supplied at that time.
Okay.
Also, I think there's going to be another allocation, and I think that's is it 2028, Mike? Is that right? 2025. there's gonna be a process for that also, hopefully similar to this, but,
Well, we
It takes
have
a
a better
while.
chance with more demand, yeah. So we will have an opportunity to ask for more, greater amount next time.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
am I understanding that we need this water? I mean, we just are building 10,000 homes with we got 100 years, plenty of water, put everybody's mind to rest. Now am I understanding that we are actually needing more water?
So this is based on a lot of the things that's going on in Apache Junction. So obviously, the district went out and leased 1,000 acre feet. We also have 817 from this development here. But yes, we need water for the future. This will get us the next 4 square miles. There'll be another additional supplies required as the city builds out for the master plan for the city of Apache Junction. So we continually gathering more additional water supplies. This one also is available right now. Next year, in 2023, it will not be available. So it's going to be cyclical when we get this water, when it's available to us because of the Colorado River. So again, it's adding to our portfolio with storage credits, surface water, groundwater, trying to make sure that we have plenty of water here for Apache Junction.
Okay, I actually have another question for you, and this kind of off topic, but I got an email from the Game and Fish Department that they are not restocking the lakes because the water level's too low. I mean, would this not be better use of this water to fill our lakes back up?
So Game and Fish handles a lot of things, so I'm not sure which lakes they're talking about. They stock some of the private lakes here in, I guess, other cities. Queen Creek has a private lake. I'm not sure if they're still stocking those because of water supplies and different things like that. SRP obviously stocks some of their canals, but they don't stock any of their lakes there because there's plenty of fish in there right now. Colorado River is really where all this water is coming from.
Sure.
Again, Game and Fish does not stock that river.
Water.
That's all natural.
I get it. It's kind of off topic, but you're here in front of me in the water district, so I thought I'd ask. It's just curious to me that they're saying that, the water level's too low. It'll destroy the ecosystem in there if they stock the lakes. Yeah. And I'm getting reached out to by some constituents saying, how are we having all of this water for all these developments coming down south, but yet we're willing to destroy ecosystems in our lakes because they're too low, therefore we're not restocking them. And it's curious to me, and then now I'm seeing this that, okay, well now we need this for, some backup water here. So I really start to wonder, do we really have enough water for this development down there?
For the first 4 square miles, and that's what was based on as part of the whole development, that we did analysis. The current water portfolio that we have plenty of water for that development. And that's why it wasn't larger to start with. They wanted to make sure that we had it available. There's part of our agreement that we will go back and look and make sure as the development moves forward that there is this water available or if we need additional supplies. But right now, according to our analysis, and it's conservative, there's plenty of water to serve the first 4 square miles of this development.
Okay.
Your Honor, let me help clarify a little bit of the way cities and towns plan for and receive the allocation of long-term water. The acre feet of water that we have now, the ability for the developer to come in and to be able to ask and be able to purchase state land was planning 10, 15, 20 years ago. The action that you're doing tonight and future action for the ability for either employment or other development, not only are we short, we'll continually be seeking out as a staff, from staff perspective, to be looking for water allocation, whether it's from the Colorado, whether it's from SRP. We're looking at what do we call it? Potable reuse, Mike. Different types of water resources to be able to provide for this. So to me, this is just one step of many that need to be done. So I hope that we understand that when the developer came 5-7 years ago to look at when they could develop an AJ or an Apache Junction, they wanted to know, they actually wanted to buy 9 square miles. I mean, they really thought that they could do that. And when we worked with them, meaning Mike, the team, Frank at the time, we also said, look, we want to be able to match a comfortable amount of water allocation that would not get us too nervous on it. So that's why 4 square miles was used in the selling of the land. So we kind of said that already, but we're actually going to be looking for, that's part of the reason why we've been working with SRP on that effort, because today, I don't know if you follow this, but Queen Creek just announced that LG is going to be coming into your border on the south side for 2,800 jobs of true livable wage jobs where people can live and work and reside and play in Pinal County. The exact thing that, you know, from my standpoint, will help people avoid commute shed, will be able to stay and be out here. Well, in order for Queen Creek to be able to do what they did today, they planned a long time ago to have water allocation like you're doing tonight. So from that perspective, this planning, this effort can help allow for us to have, if you ever get asked, to have jobs and employment for people to live and work in your own city.
As Joel presented tonight, this process started back in 2012, so it's taken us 10 years just to get to this point that the water is available to us, even though we applied for it over 10 years ago. So SRP is going to be the same way. It's 10 more years before we get any of that water. They're talking about desalinization. That could be 20 years out. These are big items that we're going to keep working on over years and years to make sure that we have water here for Apache Junction.
Also, the state is not going to sell any of that retained area unless they know that we've got the water. That's definite.
Plus, we have 12 square miles. Remember, we always seem to forget that, which is Baseline to Guadalupe to Elliott, from Meridian to Barkley alignment that used to be the original Lost Ezrin Heights that's already in our city, that, you know, we haven't been asked to look at, but we could at some point. That's in addition to the retained parcel.
Thank you.
Okay, any additional? Okay, that was for information only. So, district managers report,
Thank you, Your Honor. No report.
district directors report.
Give me a second here. There we go. So before I get to this fun and exciting stuff, you guys are going to be hearing a lot of this over the near future here. I'm going to give you kind of a quick update on our development to the south. We're going to be starting construction on water lines here in the near future. And this will be presented to you guys by the city also here in the next couple of board meetings and council.
Our next
city
work session, yeah.
Next work session.
Yep.
But we're planning on starting water line construction here in August. And we're going to be the first ones to interrupt the traffic flow on Ironwood, which is going to be a big deal. There's a lot of traffic that comes up and down Ironwood. So we're doing a lot of planning for that right now, working through that process. It's going to go down to one lane in each direction possibly. But we're working through that, trying to schedule it with the SR 24 opening up and some other streets from the south with Meridian, Ironwood obviously, and Signal Butte all opening up this summer between June and July to the 24. So hopefully that will leave some of the traffic that comes up Ironwood here into Apache Junction so that we can do this construction in a safe manner. But there'll be the contractor or the city staff reporting back to you guys and explain to you what we'll be doing and how we'll manage some of the traffic situations that are going to happen down there in the near future. Unfortunately, water's going to be the first one going in, so we're really going to be a bulk of the start of it, but there's also traffic lights that we're going to be doing down there, expanding from 2 lanes in each direction to 3 lanes in each direction. There's sewer lines, there's gas lines, there's all kinds of infrastructure going to be going in that road. So Ironwood's going to be tied up for the next probably 2 to 3 years with construction starting from Ray Road all the way up to Elliott during this time period. So it's going to be a handful to handle. There's going to be a lot of citizens, maybe not of Apache Junction complaining, but there'll be a lot of people complaining about the traffic jams on Ironwood, but hopefully we can mitigate some of those with some signage and open up of the new 24 and everything that's happening down there. So kind of giving you guys a heads up that that'll be coming here in the near future. On a happier note, on May 5th, we're going to be doing the Water Festival. We'd love to have all you guys out there again. We haven't had it for the last couple of years because of COVID, but we're bringing it back this year. And it's scheduled for May 5th at Prospector Park. We need some volunteers. The actual festival itself is really about 9:30 to 11:30, but we need some people there to set up ahead of time, and then some people afterwards to take down the project that we have there. Lunch will be provided to these volunteers and breakfast as part of it, but this is the 4th grade students from all of Apache Junction, and then one City of Mesa school, SUSA, which Arizona Water Company services that area. So we invite that school also. We'll roughly have about 200 to 300 fourth grade students at this event. I think some of you guys have also been at the event, whether just showing people around or actually doing some of the training, so we're inviting you guys back out again this year. You guys have any questions on that?
That's a lot of fun.
And Mike, anybody they know or anybody that wants to can come on Tuesday at the multi-gen and
Yes.
go from there.
So on the multi-gen, we have training
What time?
on May 3rd. That's from 11 to 1. So you guys can come in there. They train you on how to do watershed, water conservation, groundwater, and the water cycle. So there's 4 different stations that we have at this event. It trains the fourth graders on how to manage water today and where we're going to the future. So just kind of get it in everybody's back of their mind and what we're doing.
Is the fire department coming?
I'm reaching out to the new chief, so this will be a new event for him, so hopefully we can talk him to coming back out, but I would imagine they would be there, yes. Any other questions? There's a quick sheet. We'll be sending this out. I think it was dropped off on your guys' inbox already, so we'll be sending it out to citywide for staff to volunteer for this event. That's all I have for tonight.
Okay, any questions from the? Nope, looking forward to it. Okay, I will now adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
All right, good job.